This is a video for our string basics students in Year 4. So we are over halfway now. We're up to our green bead, 3 from the end. This is exciting. And I'm looking at exercise 157 on page 32. Now this is where we learn our first brand new note in a little while. We've learnt all the notes on the D string. We've learnt the notes on the A string. But now we're going to go back and learn something we haven't learnt. When we first started learning strings and putting our fingers down, we learned D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So we always had a big gap between our first and second fingers, and we had this thing called sharp, F sharp and C sharp. Now, sharp means to go higher. So we were playing higher than normal sound when we played F sharp or C sharp. There was a really big gap between our first and second fingers. Now that you know all that stuff, we're going to learn something new. We're going to learn F natural. So it's not going to be as high. It's not going to be as big a gap. In fact, we're going to change the finger pattern with F natural, and instead of it being big gap between 1 and 2 and then 2 and 3 close, it's going to be this. We're going to go E, F natural, second finger touching our first finger, and then a big gap between 2 and 3. So sharp means high, a high sound. And that's what we learnt when we first started learning our instrument, a high F. A high C. Now we're going to pull that back and we're going to do what's called a natural or normal note. So if you think about E, we don't say E sharp, we just say E. If we talk about G, we just say G. We're going to learn F natural, which is really just F. But because we're used to saying F sharp, we'll say F natural or F normal. Okay? And our second finger will be touching our first finger. So this is a new finger pattern. We used to do this, E, F sharp, G. Now we're going to do this, first and second finger touching, big gap to our third finger. This is our new note, F natural. And for our next bead, our green bead, we're going to play the piece at the bottom of the page. But before you do that, please play through all the other pieces on the page because they will give you practice at this new finger pattern and this new note, F natural. Then when you've done that, we'll go on and we'll play the Merwood's Trail. So every time we see an F, it's going to be an F natural, a low second finger. Let's give it a go. If you would like to just follow your music and listen to what F natural needs to sound like in this piece the first time, that's quite okay. So perhaps you're playing with me, perhaps you're listening the first time. Number 157. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feels quite odd, doesn't it? And I saw in the second bar, after the F natural, they actually had the word reach, to reach for our G. And boy, it does feel like a really big reach. Those two fingers don't like to be stretched, do they? They don't like it. It doesn't feel natural. So let's try it again because it will take a bit of getting used to this new note, F natural, and then that big reach up to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reach. So that is our new note, F natural. By the way, the G has not changed. G is always in that same place. It's just because we've pulled our second finger back now that we feel like we need to reach further, because the hand's pulled back. We still need to get that third finger on the sticker. I hope that makes sense. In the next video, we're going to look at doing the same thing over on the A string. So we've learnt how to pull our second finger back for F natural or F normal. In the next bead, we're going to learn how to pull our second finger back on the A string for C natural or C normal rather than C sharp. See you then.